welcome to the Atlantic CIL podcast. I'm here with one of my awesome employees, Jacob. Jacob, how do you say your last name? I just want to make sure I'm saying it right.
Seeger, Seeger.
Jacob Seeger, he's the one that edits this awesome podcast. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite new people. So we're going to talk about kind of his life, some things about autism, and kind of what he's been up to and how he got to where he is today, where he's editing this podcast and doing a lot of really cool things as he goes throughout life. So let me start with like a basic question, Jacob. Like, what got you into video editing? How did you get interested in that?
So it's actually very funny. So back when I was around like 12 or 13, I used this app called Video Star, and I started making like these little music videos on my phone. And mainly I would just grab like remixes I would find on SoundCloud or just on Apple Music or iTunes, as some would still use it back in the day. And I started using this app called Video Star and put all these crazy effects in it. I don't use the app anymore since I've now moved on to Adobe Premiere, and sometimes I would hop back on iMovie a bit to make like some quick videos here and there sometimes, but mainly it's just a lot of Adobe Premiere Pro.
Awesome. Were you always into like videos and stuff, or did that kind of start when you were a little older?
So I actually kind of started when I was a little older. So what really got me into that kind of stuff was mainly music, because when I was around 3 years old, I was gifted like a little MP3 player called a Rio. It had like some country songs in there. And then I really got hooked onto the music. I would listen to songs from Gretchen Wilson, Shania Twain, Big and Rich are just a few names, Kenny Chesney. So I really got into country music back when I was young. And then around 8 or 9, I got really into pop music on the radio. Mainly I would listen to a lot of Lady Gaga and Katy Perry.
Awesome. And what's your favorite type of music now? What music are you primarily listening to now?
Favorite type of music right now?
Yes.
A lot of it is just a bunch of underground dubstep lately. So I'm very happy that over the pandemic, over the past 2 years, I got to go on this place called Discord. And because back around when I graduated high school, I didn't really have a lot of friends growing up with the same kind of music that I enjoyed. Like, I still enjoy my friends, but we don't have same music interests. I would introduce them to all these musicians, but it's not really their cup of tea. But then I started joining these like artist Discord servers and all these different labels and collectives and communities. And I just found a great group of friends, mostly coming through Space Lace's Discord server. So
awesome. And can you explain what Discord is to anybody in the audience who may not know what that is?
Okay, so Discord, mainly it's a place where a lot of people would go to play games, but now because of the pandemic, there's been much more communities out there, like LGBTQ communities, filming, arts, music. Like, I would see a lot of people either streaming music or gaming whenever I'm joining a voice chat with them. So, and they just like share their screen of whatever they're doing. So
right.
Yeah.
Right. So like somebody could have a Discord of them playing a video game, and then other people can join in.
Yeah, like you can join in. Like, there's actually these activities that are built in. It's currently in the beta testing right now. And you can play games alongside all through Discord. Like, you don't have to have a PS5 or a Nintendo Switch or an Xbox. So it's actually very fun.
Awesome. So I also want to talk about here at the center, most of our employees have disabilities. And we were talking before we started that you were comfortable talking about yours. So how would you define your disability? If somebody asked you, like I would say I have cerebral palsy, well, how would you define it?
I would define it as, and I am diagnosed with high functioning autism ever since I was around 2 or 3. So sometimes like I'd have to take these like morning medications in order for me to focus on what I'm doing, or else I'd be sleepy or I'd be like going off topic with whatever. And it really just like, it hurts my brain so much whenever I don't focus on something that I have to do. Like I would get carried away looking at something else on the internet when I'm supposed to be doing homework for like my tech school.
Right, right. So you get not distracted, but like lose focus sometimes. Um,
Yes.
um, and how'd you end up? So how'd you end up in tech school? How did that all play out?
So around my junior year of high school, I assume, I tried taking the SATs twice. And to be honest, I didn't really do that well. And
Me either. I sucked at that too, Jacob. This must be a thing with people with disabilities.
yeah, the questions were really confusing. And I've tried very hard. One time I didn't really pay attention. The second time I took it, I tried my best paying attention, but there was just a lot of stuff happening outside of SAT practice. And it's just like, I was like, okay, I'm not doing this again. And then my parents selected me to go to this place called Connecticut School of Broadcasting. There's a few buildings around the East Coast. Some are in North Carolina. There might be one in Florida. There's one that I went to in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is about an hour and 30 away from me.
Awesome. And how long does it take to like go through the program?
How long it takes?
Yeah, how long did it take you to finish? That's what I was asking. Like,
For
how
me,
long?
it took about, well, for their usual semesters are like 2 months. So luckily, I got to finish my semester 2 months before the pandemic hit.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I just think it's important that people and people with disabilities know that like there are other options out there than like the traditional route. Because I'm like you, I struggled with the SATs as well. It like just wasn't my for different reasons, but pertaining to my disability, it just wasn't my thing, and I didn't do well either. But it's not the be all end all. Do you think? Because I know like you're really good at your job here. Do you think your autism helps you with like the editing stuff? Do you think it has any positive effects? Is what I'm asking.
I mean, most likely, yes. Like I know what to cue in for like whenever somebody says a swear word in
Yes,
a, in a podcast. Like I recently had to do one for a
for
recent
us.
episode. Yeah. Because I was like, I don't know whether or not if we're going to mark this episode as explicit or clean, because I don't want to get in trouble. Like there might be younger people, there might be
Yes.
moms or dads listening to this podcast right now.
Yeah.
So
I blame you, Jacob, if they call it. I'd say Jacob said to say that on there. But yeah, so I just think you have a really good eye for it, and it's not an easy thing in an ear for it. Like you pick up on things that I do that you've told me about that I don't notice. So I think that's really, really cool. Let's talk about your DJing. How'd you get into DJing?
So this is actually a great, interesting story to tell you. So around 6 years ago, yeah, 6 years ago, I bought this thing called a Denon DJ MC4000 at a DJing convention because I'm really big into EDM. I bought it. I had it for 6 years. I tried out like once or twice, but I had a very slow running laptop and it did not work out that well. Until 2 years ago, I recently bought a MacBook Pro. It's a MacBook Pro with the Intel chips. So this is before the M1 chips came out. And I have like 4 USB-C ports. So I'd have to buy USB-C to USB-A ports. So one day I just randomly decided to pick up my Denon DJ that's been sitting in my closet for about 5 years. And I was like, okay, I really want to try this thing out. I really want to try something new. And then I started playing around with it and I'm like, yo, this is easy. Like I'm playing some of my favorite songs in there and whatever. Sometimes I'd randomly go live on my Instagram to record myself DJing. I don't do that a lot because I now have the reviews, which I'll talk about later on in
Yes.
this video. And I just thought, yo, this is a lot of fun. Like having to do these like mashups and doubles. They're just so much fun. Like even if you watch like tutorials with the mixing app that you use, like I use Virtual DJ, some people use Record Box, but I was watching the tutorials and being like, oh, these are easy. Like I can just do this very simply.
Now, have you done things in like outside the virtual world, or is it mostly virtual?
A lot of the shows that I've done are virtual, like the recent one I did for Shimosuki. And we did this festival called Proxima, and we raised about $2,000 towards Project Hope, which was to help out with the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine, which is
That's
really
awesome.
devastating. So I got to perform like after a back-to-back set, and I was a little nervous because I was like, how am I supposed to, like, there's no competition, but I'm like, how am I going from this back to back from Tenchi and Type R to me? I'm like, how is this happening? Like, originally, no kidding. Originally, I was supposed to be performing right after my friend Mags because he had melodic dubstep, and most of my set was going to be melodic dubstep as well. But since we had a few tracks that he played in his set compared to my set, like I had an unreleased track from him in my set, but what he did in his set, he pitched it down a bit, but I used the like original pitch and I matched it up with the Leatrix song.
So just so people understand, so in this, when you're performing, you're kind of going back and forth with like other people, even though it's not competitive. You want to do a good job. Am I right about that?
That is called a back-to-back. So when you perform for like 30 minutes, like if it's just you, that's just a solo set. But when you're going, like if one person takes their turn on the CDJs and mix for like 5 minutes or mix one song and then passes it on to another person, that's called a back-to-back.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
But you could also just do solo.
Yeah.
How many people usually come to these things virtually?
It depends on the audience. Like sometimes they could be live streamed on Twitch, they could be live streamed on YouTube, or they might just have like a little radio that they're playing on their website. Like we did not have any Twitch for the recent event that we're doing. It was all played through a radio. And there are some people that were texting in the chat saying like, oh my gosh, the song's so cool and whatever. Like I'm typing down the track list and whatever while the set is being played along. So it was a lot of fun. Like I actually got to have some like big names come into the server. Like I know Madcore, who's a producer out there in the Netherlands. He joined. He was like up till like 4 a.m. and I was like, yo, dude, make sure you don't hurt yourself when you're staying up that late. But he got so happy when I played one of his favorite songs. That was like in the beginning of my set.
Oh, that's awesome. So you really get to do these things with people from like all over the world. That's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you also do reviews for YouTube. So how'd you get into that? How'd you tell us about that?
All right. So I really got into videos while I'm watching reviews from people like Jote, Cubic, and Primal Rights. And then I'm starting to see now how like I'm kind of like leading like all these other people that are inspired by my videos. Like I know this kid named Zytra who just started doing reviews, and literally like my first collaborative review was with him because I was going to review Color Base Volume 3 and he said, oh, I want to do that as well. And I'm like, hey, why not do it together? So we did. And to be honest, like the video quality was not that good. Like when I look back at it, because like I had to do this all through my laptop and it's not that powerful. And I'm just trying out this entirely new thing. I had like a whole backdrop. I wanted to just only get my face and Zytra's face during the entire video.
Oh, that's so cool. So how long have you been doing the reviews? Has it been a year? Has it been longer?
Next month will mark a year for when I've done reviews. Like the first one I did was, well, my first solo review was for Neonix's The Lee Tapes. Yes, it was called The Lee Tapes. That was released on Cyclops Recordings. And that was like kind of how I wanted to kick off, mainly because on Cubic's YouTube channel, he asked me if I wanted to do a collaborative review with him back in like February of last year when he dropped the Lee Jenningser EP. And that was with like 2 other people. One of them was named Benson, and I think another person named Apollo. So yeah.
That's so cool. Where can people find you on YouTube?
Okay, so I do have a link tree which links all of my socials. My socials are 00TheBee, 00TheBee, like a bumblebee.
Why'd you pick that? Where did that come from?
So when I was trying to start up a YouTube channel, like an old one, which I've now like removed and deleted, I think, I was trying to think of a good name. And one of the names came across was 00TheBee. The 2 zeros represent the year that I was born, 2000. And the B represents the name Jacob, as what my mother and father sometimes like to call me.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So what socials are you on? All socials? Instagram, Twitter?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud. I do have a Discord server as well. It's not really active. I always got to try my best to revive it, but it's been like really inactive because I'm really busy with life. So
yeah, you have been busy. You've been working.
Yeah.
Like you have 2 jobs now. And
yep.
how's that been kind of transitioning from school to work? Do you like school better? Do you like work better? How's this going into early adulthood? How's that working out for you?
So I'm already done with the tech school thing at the moment. Like I can always come back to see if I want to retake a few classes. The work thing is doing very well for me. Mainly this job has been helping me out a lot because like I'm doing what I love as compared to the other job. It is a good way to pay the money. I do work at a grocery store during the weekends, which
Yeah.
I will be honest with you, it's not really my all-time favorite, but it does help pay the money.
Yeah, and so I think we all do that when we're working. We all make compromises because you at the end of the day you gotta live and have money, and you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. But I know you've been busy with everything, so we're glad to have you. Back to autism, since this is a disability podcast. Are there any misconceptions about autism that like are pet peeves of yours that you hear people say that like you're like that's not an accurate description of it? Anything that you can think of that drives you crazy?
So this is a bit difficult because I have been to sleepaway camps where there's a bunch of people with disabilities. Sometimes people would get really loud at night or sometimes would misbehave, like they can't sleep. But lately, just like I have been to classes before in the past with a bunch of people with disabilities, but I've kind of like grown from that since I'm diagnosed with high functioning autism. Like I could drive a car, I can get myself to work, I can kind of drive up to like my cousin's house that's like 2 hours away or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I can do all of that on my own.
So yeah, so and some people may be surprised by that, but they shouldn't. There are a lot of people with autism doing all kinds of awesome and just like living their life. Do you like driving? Or some people don't like I don't drive, so I was just curious. Do you like driving?
I actually do enjoy driving. Yes, sometimes, and no kidding, I kind of have a bit of a guilty pleasure for retro video games. So I kind of like drive around the area to where I can find that store and just find whatever nostalgic things I can buy.
That's awesome. What's your favorite? I was really into video games when I was younger. What's your favorite retro video game? I have to know this.
My favorite retro video game.
Yeah.
I've said I've been replaying the Tekken series a bit. Like I
Okay.
remember the reason why is because whenever I visit my aunt and uncle from upstate New York, I would sometimes play Tekken with my cousin. And now just out of nowhere, I've like decided to bring myself back into playing Tekken again and some other fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. So I don't know why it's just
Awesome.
like,
All good games. All good games.
yeah, mainly I'm into Mario games as well.
Mario's
So,
awesome.
and maybe some Pac-Man here and there. So
Yeah. Sonic, you're a Sonic person. You're a Sonic person. I think I know this.
not really. I'm not really a big fan of Sonic. There are some games that I enjoy from the Sonic series, but it's the movies that you're probably thinking of.
Yeah, yeah. Where you came in my office amped about the movies. And so you like them. I gotta understand this. So you like the movies, but not the game.
Um, I haven't played all the Sonic games. Like I'm not a super big fan of Sonic, like I said before, but I do have games like Sonic. Hold on, I'm looking at my collection. Sonic Heroes Zero Gravity because it's like a racing game. And I also do like some racing games here and there, like Cruise and Blast, like is a game that I would play in the arcade. It's a game that's made by Nintendo, I assume.
But you do recommend the movies for all our listeners.
I would recommend the movies. Like if anyone hasn't seen Sonic the Hedgehog 2, it's hella amazing.
Oh, amazing. There you go. There's Jacob. Also,
It's better than the first, in my opinion. So
people have been waiting for your approval to go. They're gonna run out and see it now. Yeah. So what is see now I'm gonna blow smoke up me. What's your favorite part? What do you like most about this job? What do you like most about this job?
what I like most about this job,
Yes.
it is a nice space that I get to work in. And keep in mind, I'm in my like little workspace, so I'm basically
Yes.
doing this from home. I'm not in
Yes.
the office right now, so
Yes. Yes. We don't have Jacob working at a garage. Like, it looks,
it
I
looks
want
a
people
bit
to
messy. It's also like
yeah.
half like workout space as well, as you can see.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I do enjoy working at the place. It's a nice little building. And
Yes.
I do get to have like work in a little conference room and whatever. We have like microphones set up for in case we ever start doing like these interviews in person. So
We would like to do some in person, actually. We would like to
yeah.
do some in person because Jacob set it all up You did an awesome job with it. Do you have any tips for a person with a disability trying to find a job or go to school? Like, do you have any things that work for you? Because you got two jobs. So how'd you do that? How'd you manage to score two jobs?
So the job that I have right now is working at a grocery store, and I would work there. I'd usually work like any other day of the week, but now since I got this job, I kind of want to work there more during the weekdays, since like this is something that I'm really passionate about and that I'm getting paid for. And the other job is like, I wouldn't say it's temporary, but it's also another job that helps pay money. So it really does help out with, shoot, how do I even say it? Just like, it depends. Like if for some reason another job, like if one of your jobs gets a little bit too stressful, like you can always talk to your boss about it. Like I've recently started taking therapy for over a year now, because I'd sometimes get a little aggravated when people get angry at me for no reason at all, or just wanting to yell at me for yet again no reason. Like it really is a pet peeve for me, because I want to make customers happy and I want to make sure that they're getting the best experience from there. But I really don't like it when people would sometimes cause like distractions or just tend to be rude at you for no reason.
Yeah, I get that, and I loved your recommendation. Like, I'm a big believer in therapy, and I think that's a real like helpful thing because life can be a lot. Like you said,
Yeah, a lot during the pandemic.
yeah, a lot, especially during the pandemic. So I think it's always awesome when people say they've been to therapy. I've been to therapy. It's like awesome. I think it's like people, there's stigma attached to it, and there really shouldn't be. And I'm glad to see more people kind of breaking that stigma and talking about it. Yeah, but so I found out about you from your family friend Fran. So and you had a good resume. So like I guess I want to talk about like you seem pretty good at like networking and getting to know people. And I think that's an important part of like how you get a job. And that's why it is good to be involved in things because you never know when this opportunity is gonna come. Because your resume just ended up on my computer screen one day. And I'm like, I'm hiring this person. So were you surprised when I found out about you? Were you like what were your thoughts?
So I didn't expect getting hired that quickly. I was like, my brain could not process the fact that I was like, yo, I'm about to get hired at this place. And why can't my brain just process that? Like, I'm just like, I worked at this supermarket for over a year now. And just out of nowhere, my father just says, hey, may you please send your resume to this person? We're probably considering you for a job. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, this quick? And then one day, like, you looked at it and you say, okay, we want to hire this kid. And I'm like, I was not like thinking that in my head because I thought it would take a little longer. Yeah, exactly.
No, you were, yeah, we need a podcast. And I looked at you and I'm like, it's him. So I knew I wanted to do it. What else do you like to do for fun? So you got your editing, you got your reviews. What do you do for fun besides all your editing stuff?
Sometimes I like to go out on a bike ride. Sometimes I like to go to sporting events. I'm not a big fan of sports, but I do love attending sporting events. Like recently, I was in Ithaca, New York, because my younger brother, who goes to college out in Oregon, he had a regatta in Ithaca over the weekend. So I got to see him at his regatta, and his team did very well. He actually beat Georgetown, I think, in one race. And after that was over on Saturday, my older brother and his girlfriend, my parents and I, we all went to a hockey game in Syracuse for the Syracuse Crunch.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're not too big in the sports, but you do like the events.
It's always nice to get out of the house once in a while, because I do like to get out of the house and be like, okay, well, I'm sitting here doing nothing but just either listening to music or editing something else that I want to get out of the way on my YouTube channel. I kind of want to always like at least get out of my house or get out of the state, or sometimes just like trying to do something fun and productive. Like,
right. And different, and different.
Yeah, and different.
And different. So are you the, I forget, are you the middle child? Are you the oldest? Where are you a year?
I am the middle child. I am 21 years old. My younger brother is 19 and my older brother is 24.
So what are your like future goals? I would be happy if you just worked here your whole life, but what are you what are your like, do you have any long-term goals? Do you want to move out of your house? Like what do you kind of got planned in the future? If you have anything, you don't have to have anything. Sometimes you don't know until you know.
Future goals.
Yes.
I mean, truth is, yes, I kind of do wish I want to move out of this house because I'm the only one living there with my parents at the moment. And since I love DJing, I also kind of want to do like an IRL DJing show. Like I just don't know how that works because like I know some people say that they're open for bookings, but lately I've just been doing a lot of URL shows. Most of them are been on VR chat, so kind of want to get like
Uh,
an Oculus Quest.
all right. You just put a lot of acronyms there, and not everybody's as cool as you. So, what is IRL for all the uncool kids?
So IRL means in real life.
What is URL? You said URL. So
It means I don't know the abbreviation for it, but it means like online, virtual.
it's online. It's online virtual. And then what is Oculus?
An Oculus is a VR headset that's used. I think it's made by Meta, Facebook, and you put it around your face, like you put it around your eyes.
Oh, cool.
So it's a VR headset. I know. I thought you needed like a PC in order to use it, but I'm thinking about the Oculus Rift. But the Quest is a standalone, and I kind of want to get one because I can go on VR chat and possibly like attend these virtual concerts and possibly sign up for them if I really feel like I want to do it.
Well, that's awesome. I'd go to that. I'd go to that. But yeah, so you're working towards things, and you're already doing a great job, and keep it up because you're already on the right path. What is that? I also want to ask, so what's your like just random questions? Like do you have a favorite TV show?
I love The Good Doctor. I've been
Oh
watching
yeah,
The
I
Good
want to talk to you
Doctor
about.
a lot lately. Like before this interview started, I was just catching up on the recent episode. I don't want to spoil anything that happens in there, but I got really happy at the end. So,
Okay. So just so in case anybody doesn't know, what is The Good Doctor about? Give them a brief like summary of it.
okay. So The Good Doctor is about a man who just finished med school, who lived in Casper, Wyoming, moved to San Jose, California. He's diagnosed with autism and has savant syndrome, which he can see things and analyze things in his mind that nobody else can do. So it's really interesting. It's been running for 5 seasons, now going to be running for 6 since they recently just got renewed for a 6th season. And there are some episodes that I kind of cringe at because I'm like, oh, this is kind of relatable, or like, why not get over it or whatever. But most of the time, I really love watching the episodes because like there's a lot of things that I can relate to it as a person who's diagnosed with autism.
Right. Do you think most of the time it's accurate of how it portrays autism?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's a good show for people to watch. It's on my list of things to watch, but you recommend it, so I should go see it. Is it on Netflix yet? Can you
It's on
stream it?
ABC
Okay, it's on ABC.
and a Hulu.
Oh, it's on Hulu, so you can stream it. Okay, good. And I gotta binge it. I can't not binge things. I can't wait for next week. I'm bad at that. I have no patience. Favorite food? Give me your favorite food as we're wrapping up here.
Beef and broccoli. Oh my
Really?
gosh. Beef and
That's so
broccoli is
random.
so delicious because I'll do takeout sometimes, and then usually a lot of stuff contains shellfish in it, which I'm allergic to, but I would eat beef and broccoli with actual chopsticks, or I would dip the soy sauce in with the rice and kind of like I would mix the rice and the beef and broccoli together to kind of give it that nice tasty feeling, and I eat it with chopsticks. So some people just eat it with a fork or with some other utensils, but I like to do it traditionally with chopsticks.
All right. I was not expecting beef and broccoli. Expecting that was different. I like that. I like that answer. Oh, and back to like the DJing and stuff. So like how do you decide what music to review? Because there's like a lot of music out there. So how do you know like what people want to hear? I guess is what I'm asking. How do you know what to look at?
So are you talking about reviewing or DJing?
Both. Both. Give me both. How do you like pick this stuff out? Is what I'm asking.
So for communities, like I usually, it depends on what the event is. So I remember one time I wanted to do like a very heavy set for Audio Apocalypse, and I recorded that literally out in my backyard in the woods at night, and I had like 5 tiki torches around, and I had to do like a 1-hour set where I just wanted to play like the heaviest dubstep tear out minatory music I can find because I want this to have a theme. I want it to have an actual theme for this entire event. some people, like I know some people would like to do melodic stuff since that's what they mainly make. Like I think one time Spock and Step, she makes like a lot of melodic house and trance, or maybe some dubstep and drum and bass here and there. So she makes like a lot of like colorful music. Pixel Growls ranges around like rhythm and tear out sometimes. Dark Mage does a lot of Minatory and tear out. So yeah.
So it's kind of what people are into, and then you go kind of from there.
Yeah.
And how long, like when you're reviewing something, how long does everything take? Is it like an hour?
It depends on the release. Like I recently done a review for Audio Untapped 23 that had 4 songs, and I'd record myself and it would be around 20 minutes, but I'd have to cut out specific parts of the whole recording. Like I don't want to hear myself saying a bunch of times.
Yeah, I do that a lot. It drives you crazy.
That's what I do. That's what I do a
podcast.
lot in this podcast.
I'm trying not to do that now, but it is hard when you're talking. You don't notice how many like little ticks you do. Like you just do little things that audio picks up on.
Yeah, and that's why I would sometimes go back. Like once we're done recording this, I'd have to go back and realize, oh, we don't need that. I'll take that out of there.
Yes. The longer this goes, the more Jacob has to edit. So anything else you want people to know about you? Anything cool that you got the floor, Jacob? Anything you want to plug? You got a lot going on.
All right, so some things I want to mention. I am on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I have my Discord server. I got SoundCloud, and I do have a TikTok, which I hardly use TikTok now because it's just hard to keep up managing all these like different social media platforms.
You need like a secretary. You need like a Jacob.
I need management team. That's what I need.
Yes, you need a management team. You need like a management, an agent, an intern to manage your social media. You know, you need your whole crew. I'd watch you. So I counted. You have like 5 social medias. How do you keep this all? Now I'm fascinated because this is what happens. How do you keep it all updated? How do you keep it all current? Wait, just so you know, at the center we have a Facebook and an Instagram, and it stresses me out. Like just having those 2 things. So how do you keep 5 things updated?
So, I mean, SoundCloud is mainly just to listen for music. Like I would only upload mixes at this time since I don't make my own music, but it's also nice to discover new artists on SoundCloud as well. With Instagram, I've used Instagram for like 5 years, and I've also learned how to schedule posts. So like every motivational Monday video, like I'd be sleeping, but like it would automatically upload ahead of time. And with the New Music Fridays, I'd make them as best as I can and then schedule it at a specific time.
Yeah, that's what Jen does with our social media, and it does work because that way you don't have to.
Same with Twitter and YouTube.
Yeah, you don't have to remember like if you post or not. What's your favorite social media as we're wrapping up here? Well, if you only had to have one, you only can pick one. You're on a desert island, but for some reason you have access to one social media platform. What would it be?
What would it be?
Yeah, what would you have to pick one? Pick one.
So I guess I'd say, shoot, Instagram, because I've been using that a lot. I would see some people like sharing song snippets or like sharing like their funny skit or just something creative that they done. And I'm on Instagram a lot. I'd see just whatever funny stories people say, or sometimes see like the funny memes that I would watch on my phone. So
yeah. All right, so Instagram. So now we know, audience members, if Jacob had to pick one of his 5 social medias, he'd be on Instagram. I don't know what I'd do. I guess I'd pick Facebook, but I feel like Facebook's for like old people like me now.
I gotta start one. No kidding. I might have to start one soon.
You don't have a Facebook? Well, you have everything, but not a Facebook. Wow,
I've yet to start one, but I think I'll try my best to think about it at some point, because I did start a Twitter last year, so I'm very late to the Twitter.
I gotta look you up. I gotta follow you. I gotta keep tabs on you, Jacob. I'm gonna see what you're doing. Okay, so follow Jacob. We'll list some of it. We'll list his stuff in our introduction. Thanks so much for doing this interview with me, and now you can edit yourself. Is that going to be awkward for you editing yourself? Are you going to feel that awkward?
Not really. No, I have no problem with that. I edit myself all the time when I'm making my YouTube
Okay.
videos.
All right. So you're going to edit me, take out my heavy breathing and all my pauses, and then go edit yourself. But so I'll see. Actually, everybody, I'm going to see Jacob tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow, Jacob, and you'll do this. And thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. It's been an honor.
Thank you. Bye, Jacob.
Bye-bye.